guys, I just wanted to make a short video to let you know that I know school year is almost over and it's strange not to see you guys in person. And I know this week a lot of you have AP exams, so I am not going to make a lesson today, and the lesson I made I think yesterday won't be due till Thursday, so you have some time. We have about 2 weeks left, but we only have a hypothesis test left for this chapter, and so like I said, I'm up for David and Noah's special lesson of vectors for 2 days or so, and then be done with the class. I don't feel the need to continue, especially if you can use those times to catch up other works that you might be fallen behind. Or we can have kind of like a class Zoom hangout before we are done with the school year. And so let me know what you guys think. I don't know if David remembers, but there was one time during school year that David was asking me about the book of Daniel, and I didn't really have an answer because I told him that I will read during Lent, but I actually never end up reading Daniel during Lent. But I've been reading it this during the quarantine, and it's an interesting. It's definitely interesting to read at this time because things are changing so quickly, and sometimes it does feel like we're living in the end of the world. And Daniel has a lot of visions concerning the end of the world. And so, obviously, some of the interpretation was more for that time period, right? Like concerns about Persia and just different things. And like Gabriel gives the interpretation of the vision that Daniel saw. But just like the Psalms, like there was an immediate interpretation, like King David was feeling certain things and that was concerning him, but also it was pointing to Jesus. And so I was wondering if there is like that kind of application of this book in this time that we're living. But I'm asking for wisdom and understanding, just as Daniel did, but I don't want to say anything too rashly, so I'm not going to say anything about vision part. But there was, I think it was chapter 3, that it was such a good reminder, especially this time of the craziness, the time that we live in. So this is the part that Daniel's friends were about to thrown into the fire, right? So it's chapter 3. That people were basically accusing the 3 men that they are not worshiping, the king. And so then the king says, like, okay, well, if you worship now, then I won't throw you into the fire, which is what should have been done according to the law. And then they say the verse 15, no, verse 16, they say, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." So I meditated on this verse quite a bit because I think our prayer is always for sure, and with faith, without any wavering, that God will deliver us from this current situation, whatever the storm that we are in. And I think God, in his graciousness, that he will deliver us. And we do have the ultimate deliverance for our soul in eternity. So even if we don't get delivered like right now in the current situation, that doesn't mean that God has deserted us in any way, right? But I think in a practical sense, like I often forget that lack of the immediate deliverance, I think I often interpret it as lack of God's care on my life, when that's not really true. We're not serving God so that we can get whatever we want. We serve God because that's what fulfills us, right? That's what we are meant to be. Like, we are here to worship God, and we are made it that way. And so God is the only one who can really complete us in that way. But oftentimes that, like, our human desire comes, and because God is so good, He has given us so many good gifts that we almost think of it as, like, I deserve that gift. And if I pray that, Lord, let this coronavirus go away so our students can enjoy their end of the year activities with each other, and they can have a good closure with each other. I can pray those things, and I do genuinely believe that God can give me those things. Or give you guys those things. But even if He doesn't, it doesn't mean that I should go about and find something else that can actually make those things happen. I think because there is a reason why that is unknown to us. And I think that is the hard part, that we have to live with this sense of, like, I don't know why this is happening. And I think it would be so scary if you didn't know that the creator of this universe, like, if His character was flawed, then I'll be very scared of whatever is happening, because I don't know if it will get any worse, and I don't know that creator would care at all for any of the human beings and me. But because I know God's character, and I know that He is in complete control, it's not like things are happening out of His control. And I believe, I trust His character, and I believe that there is a good intention behind everything that is happening, however hard that is. I mean, these guys are about thrown into fire, but they were able to make those incredible confessions about their faith. I think this is the time that we can stand up and really live out what we believe in. And I think this is an incredibly precious time for us to do that, because whenever we are faced with this kind of almost like a global suffering that no one can escape from, it really truly shows what we believe in and what we value. If we value God, I think our life would look very different from people who don't believe in God or God's quality, true quality and true character. Because I think there are plenty of people who believe in God who also believe that, like, just general sense, like, oh, God is good, God is love. And if they don't have an understanding of who God is in depth, I think this event will shatter their image of God, right? Because how can this be loving? Like, people that I care about, people I love, are dying, or are very sick, or I'm in a place I cannot travel to see people that I love because of this pandemic. Like, that doesn't seem loving, right? And so there's just a lot of aspects that kind of like almost like show us how mature we are as a believer. And I'm sure you guys have been learning a lot, growing a lot, spiritually, emotionally through this time. But even if you haven't, I think there's still time for you to, let God teach you what you need to learn right now. I think of suffering sometimes as manifestation of God's patience. And you might be wondering, like, how is us suffering be God's showing us how patient God is? Because if you think about it, there are so many people who won't be with God if Jesus came back today. And that includes people I love. And so even if it's so hard for me some days to experience all this grief, loss, whatever it is that you guys are going through and I'm going through. And sometimes I just pray, oh, Jesus, please come back right now. But I think it shows how patient God is, because he wants to find that one lost sheep, right? And so I think it is our responsibility to be the, people who delivers those good news to people who have never heard of the gospel. But since we don't seem to be able to do that freely because of all the restrictions that were put in our lives due to the pandemic, I think this is a great time for us to learn more about God's character, learn about our weakness, our, sinfulness, our kind of very deeply buried sin that we never wanted to deal with. And we kind of got buried with our busy life, right? I think those can emerge at this time, and that you can have an honest conversation with the Lord. Daniel prays starting with, God, you're awesome, and then he goes straight to confessing his sin, his people's sin, asking for God's mercy and forgiveness. And I think that is what we need to be doing right now. Not because this pandemic is the result of our sin. It could be, but we don't know, right? We don't know why this was happening. And I don't think we really need to know. And I think that will be a lot easier to say if you really know God's character and if you can trust him 100%. I think oftentimes we need more reason to believe what we believe. If our understanding of God is kind of shaky or more generic than really rooted in a specific examples or the past experience. So I pray. Obviously I pray for your AP exams this week and next week. But also I pray that that as you go into summer, this summer might look very different from other summers that you had, that it might be just a continuation of this quarantine life. But I just pray that you would take this as an opportunity, because we have a really long waiting time before we can show how much we have grown. And think of this as that waiting time. It's not wasted, although you could waste it. You could waste it big time. But I'm praying that you are not wasting it, and you are taking this moment as a training, a season of training and waiting and growing, so that when the moment comes, you can produce so much fruit, right? But in order for us to produce fruits, we have to abide in Christ. And one way to do that is reading the Word. So this became longer than I expected, but you know me, I can never stop talking. So again, guys, I miss you guys a lot. I wish I could be with you guys and, so good luck with AP exam. I'll be praying. And as you guys been doing, do feel free to communicate with me if something is not right, or if I forgot something, or something doesn't make sense, or you need more, a little bit of grace in the assignments that you're turning in, and different things like that. So, I look forward to having some fun time, not just class time on Zoom, especially because now I'm out of the quarantine. Okay, guys, love you, miss you, and I'll see you later.